My name is Sarah. I was 19 when this happened, about 2 years ago. I was home from college for the summer, living with my parents and desperately trying to save money for the next semester. I had been babysitting since I was 15, so when I saw a post on a local Facebook group asking for a last-minute sitter, I didn't think twice about responding. The message was from someone named Jennifer. She said she needed a sitter for that same evening because her regular babysitter had canceled. She had a 6-year-old daughter named Emma, who would already be asleep when I arrived. All I had to do was stay in the house from 10 p.m. until 2 in the morning while she attended a work event. The pay was generous, way more than I usually made. She sent me the address and told me to let myself in through the side door because she didn't want the front doorbell to wake Emma. Looking back now, I should have seen the red flags. But I was 19 and broke, and the money was too good to pass up. I had done dozens of babysitting jobs before. This was supposed to be one of the easy ones, the kind where the kid sleeps the entire time and you just sit on the couch watching Netflix and eating their snacks. I told my mom where I was going, grabbed my backpack with my laptop and charger, and drove to the address Jennifer had given me. The house was in a quiet neighborhood about 20 minutes from where I lived. It was a normal 2-story home with a neat front yard and a car in the driveway. Nothing about it seemed off. I parked on the street and walked around to the side door like Jennifer had instructed. It was unlocked, just like she said it would be. I stepped inside and found myself in a small mudroom that led into the kitchen. The lights were off, except for a small lamp on the counter. There was a note next to it written in neat handwriting. It said, "Sarah, thank you so much for coming. Emma is asleep upstairs in the first room on the right. Please don't wake her. Help yourself to anything in the fridge. I'll be back by 2 a.m. Jennifer." I set my backpack down on the kitchen table and looked around. The house was clean and quiet. Too quiet, actually. I couldn't hear anything. No hum of a refrigerator, no ticking clock, nothing. It felt like the air itself was holding its breath. I decided to check on Emma, just to make sure she was okay. I climbed the stairs slowly, trying not to make any noise. The first door on the right was slightly open. I pushed it gently and looked inside. The room was dark, but I could see a small bed against the far wall. There was a lump under the covers that I assumed was Emma. I stood there for a moment, waiting to hear breathing or see movement, but there was nothing. The room felt wrong somehow. It was too neat, too staged, like a display in a furniture store. I backed out of the room and went downstairs, telling myself I was being paranoid. Kids sleep soundly. There was nothing strange about a quiet house, but then I started noticing other things. Small things that didn't add up. There were no photos on the walls, no toys scattered around, no kids' shoes by the door. The refrigerator had food in it, but it all looked brand new, like someone had just bought groceries specifically for tonight. There was a gallon of milk that expired in 3 weeks, a package of cheese that hadn't been opened. Everything was too perfect. I sat down on the couch in the living room and tried to distract myself with my phone, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I kept thinking about that lump under the covers in Emma's room. I hadn't actually seen her face. I hadn't heard her breathe. At around 11 p.m., I decided to check on her again. I needed to see her, just to confirm that she was actually there and that I wasn't losing my mind. I went back upstairs and opened the door to her room, this time turning on the hallway light so I could see better. I walked over to the bed and gently pulled back the covers. My stomach dropped. It wasn't a child. It was pillows. Someone had arranged pillows under the blanket to make it look like a sleeping person. I stepped back from the bed, my heart pounding. This didn't make sense. Where was Emma? Why would Jennifer lie about having a daughter? That's when I heard it. A car door closing outside. Then another one. And another. I ran to the window and looked out. There were 3 cars parked on the street now, all of them dark sedans with tinted windows. People were getting out. I couldn't see their faces clearly, but I could tell they were all men. 5 or 6 of them. They weren't walking toward the house. They were spreading out, surrounding it. My hands started shaking. I pulled out my phone and tried to call Jennifer, but the number went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. The number was disconnected or fake. I realized with absolute clarity that I had walked into a trap, but I didn't know what kind of trap or why. All I knew was that I needed to get out. I ran downstairs as quietly as I could and went to the side door where I had come in. I reached for the handle and pulled. It didn't open. I tried again, pulling harder. The door was locked from the outside. That's when I noticed something I hadn't seen before. There were new scratches around the lock, like someone had just installed it. I ran to the front door, locked. The back door, also locked. Every window on the first floor had bars on the inside that I hadn't noticed when I arrived. They had been painted to match the walls, camouflaged so you wouldn't see them unless you were looking closely. I was trapped. I heard footsteps on the porch. Slow, deliberate. Someone was trying the front door handle. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. My voice was shaking so badly I could barely speak. I told the operator my name and that I was locked inside a house and that there were people outside trying to get in. I gave her the address. She told me to stay on the line and that police were on their way. The footsteps moved from the front door to the side of the house. I could hear voices now, low and muffled. They were talking to each other, coordinating something. I ran upstairs and locked myself in the bathroom. It was the only room with a lock on the door. I sat on the floor with my back against the bathtub, holding my phone with both hands, listening to the operator tell me to stay calm. I heard glass breaking downstairs, then footsteps inside the house. Heavy boots on the hardwood floor. They were inside. I held my breath. The footsteps came up the stairs. Someone tried the bathroom door handle. When it didn't open, they knocked. Not hard, just a gentle tap. Then a voice, male, calm. He said, "Sarah, we're not going to hurt you. We just need to talk. Open the door." I didn't respond. The operator was still on the line, telling me the police were 2 minutes away. The man knocked again. He said, "We know you called the police. That's fine. We'll be gone before they get here. But we need you to understand something. You were never supposed to be here. This was a mistake. Do you understand?" I stayed silent. He waited for a moment. Then I heard his footsteps retreat down the stairs. I heard more voices, urgent now. Then the sound of the side door opening and closing. By the time I finally heard sirens, the house was silent again. The police broke down the front door and found me still locked in the bathroom. I was shaking so hard I couldn't stand. They searched the entire house, but whoever had been there was long gone. They found the fake setup in Emma's room. They found the new locks on all the doors. They found evidence that the house had been staged recently. But they didn't find Jennifer or anyone else. The house, it turned out, was a rental property that had been sitting empty for 2 months. Someone had broken in, set it up to look lived in, and used it for whatever they had planned. The police never found out who Jennifer really was. The phone number was a burner. The Facebook account was deleted. They told me I was lucky. That whatever those people had planned, the fact that I called 911 so quickly had saved me. But they never told me what they thought was supposed to happen. Maybe they didn't know. Or maybe they didn't want to scare me more than I already was. I don't babysit anymore. I can't. Every time I think about that night, I remember that voice outside the bathroom door, calm and polite, telling me I was never supposed to be there. To this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't checked on Emma, if I had just sat downstairs on that couch, waiting for 2 a.m.